All right, there. Sorry, I started off. My mic was on mute. I apologize for that. Just started a moment late here, trying to get the screens organized for us. Uh, Late day Q&A here with me, closing the markets, closing the week out here for trade ideas. Open forum here. Fire away your questions in that questions panel there on YouTube. I don't come with any content. I will, make it up as I go along, if you will. Um, Try to keep it moving, keep it interesting. But this is for our users here with trade ideas. We want to look at some back testing. We want to look at creating alert windows. How to throw some indicators on a chart. So on and so forth. So let me know. Chime in the questions panel. As long as we can keep this active, we can keep it moving. It's a stream that I think we'll move forward with for the future. Trying to get you guys a little more live education content here with the platform. So I'll give it a moment of dead air, see if anybody here has anything, burning question, burning answers, burning desire. So nothing yet. We've got crickets rolling here. So we'll start off. We'll do a bit of a Holly recap here. We don't have much time before the market closes here. We've got 25 minutes. So looks like the market's trying to move up here on the SPY anyways, trying to head back to that 445 number. So we'll bring that over real quick. Just take a look here. And the way I like to look at some short-term momentums here, on a 15-minute chart. This is an anchored VWAP here on that purple line. I anchor it to 2 days back, so it's anchored from here, and so it's a VWAP that's moving from here on. All right, so we're well off that. It shows us some short-term momentum again. When we had the sell-off and the chop for the last week plus or whatever it was, this line was much closer to the price action, and it was doing a lot of suppressing of the price action actually on a 2-day 15-minute anchor VWAP. Green here is your 20 SMA, it's an 8 EMA. Like to use those as momentum indicators as well. So, we can see when we start to get separation here, so we're starting to get it again here. And that's equaling a little push in the price action up as we move towards the end of the close here. So we'll get rid of that chart, that docked window there, and we'll see what's around the horn for Holly. All right, let's see here. So we're just going to go right in order here. Not a whole lot on her sheet today as compared to yesterday, but breakout long. And let's see, we got an alert here at 9:51, 52 seconds. MTEM, we're entering at 7:29, and we're looking all right on here so far. So 764, not a bad entry. She got her on this top tail here. All right. A little bit of a range on the 15-minute chart there, and then we start to break it after about half an hour, and some decent alpha that was on that trade. She did exit, I'm guessing, a profit save. Yep, profit save right there. So she just wasn't going to let that winner turn around and become a loser. Kind of track the market a little bit as we look at a SPY chart and this chart here. Buyers and sellers become equal again in this range before we're able to break this range here on this last 15-minute candle. And looks like it's going to close pretty decent for us here. Seems to be holding. 5-minute chart doesn't look as nice as the 15-minute chart, though. If we give a little more space here to the whole day, a little better look there. So, whoop. There we go. So not a bad call from Holly there. Decent little amount of alpha. The way I'm displaying it is that I'm share sizing to risk $100 based on the stop loss. So that's why here, when you see shares, took 196 shares. So that's what we'd look at if we took 196 shares and got the fill at 729. So again, I'll pause if there's any questions here, or anybody wants to chime in anything. This isn't a complete open forum. I don't come with any content, fill in time with a Holly recap here, maybe talk about a little bit of what I was looking at, what I was doing today. But I would like, if you guys have questions, things you want to learn about the platform, you're not sure about the platform, capabilities of the platform, that's what I'm really here for. Press on with Holly, and I got my eye on the questions panel here. So again, feel free to interrupt me with any questions, please. So JKS, we're looking at solar here, and she was shorting. All right, so majority of the move, it does look like, had already been made when she found that short off that opening 15-minute candle that's there. You could almost call that a bear flag. Not even almost. We can call that a bear flag, actually. So it looks like she was just a little late to the party on that. And she'd maybe shorted back here a candle. Would have been a much nicer entry. Kind of range bound the rest of the day, though. So not a whole lot doing there. Want to widen this out so we can see the single stock window a little better here. We don't need all that data in that other window. So pretty liquid stock, 1.3 mil shares traded today, doing a touch under what it normally is doing on the relative volume there. Again, the relative volume for us is a 10-day average, weighted higher or weighted more heavy at the open and close. Not a lot of volume coming in here at the close, though. I'd say that volume was right there earlier in the day. So Holly a little late to the table on that one, but that's not to say that, this isn't something that can maybe have a bit of a run in it. Let's take a look here on a daily chart, how, we like shorting things. We can take a look here and see we're banging on a little bit of support area here. All right. So I'm taking out this low here, and looks like we have a little bit of room down to the 42 range, 41 and change. Let's see, it's at about 40, no, into the 30s actually. So, it's one of these stocks, especially these solars, they have a big trading range. So one of those things, maybe if you are someone who believes that the market is, still finding a top and maybe making a move lower, this might be something to watch. Holly might have been a little bit early. Never came close to the stop that she put on up there either. So, it's how we can use Holly as a watch list moving forward. No one way to use the AI. How are you interpreting data? How are you looking at it? What do these mean to you? What do these candlesticks mean to you? What do these resistance levels mean to you? What time frame are you looking at? So the catalyst that's there that triggered this, slippery slope, well, it looks like a slippery slope that's still going on here. And like I said, she was a couple of candles late here. If she had been back here on one of these two candles, she'd had some good alpha all through the whole day here, right up to the, we're closing higher. So I think this is getting a lift from the overall market right now. I'll press on here. There's nobody still with any questions. There we go. AEHR. What are we looking at here? A lot of action in this today. Let's see. So earnings were yesterday in the post market. I believe we went over this in the stream that I did yesterday. So, crazy liquidity here. You got 62 mil shares traded, just under. Doing 27.5 times its normal volume over 10 days. Love these kind of patterns that happen here. You can find a pattern within a pattern even if you like, So we had that there. We do it again there. You can almost find it there. And as I talked about yesterday, now probably something I'll pound the table always on is human eye. The human mind is biased to what it wants to see. So this is a pattern that I happen to like. I see it easily. Doesn't mean it's always there. Someone else might be saying, what the heck is he drawing? It's just what my eye goes to. So, maybe someone else is seeing something completely different and they have a totally valid point, totally valid view. That's what makes every trader different, unique, why we all have our own plans, so on and so forth. Some other things that we can look at here for this. We're above the lifetime high now. All right. So we're looking at complete blue sky. I know everybody likes to buy things that are on sale. You go to Target, you go to Walmart, you want to find what's on sale. There are a lot of traders, a lot of investors long-term out there that will tell you, never buy stocks going down, you buy stocks going up. That's not to say you don't wait for a pullback to support or something like that. But when stocks are making new all-time highs, there's no resistance above. So, this might be something really interesting if we can get maybe a little consolidation, a pullback to one of these moving averages here and find support at those moving averages here, setting up for that next leg to make that next new high. So what are we looking at? Instrument manufacturing and measuring, testing electricity. All right. So, everything's going electric, the way of the world, vehicles, utensils, all kinds of new technology putting into old technology, refrigerators, freezers, TVs, the innovations never stop. So, these are things that we can look at as extra catalysts moving forward. Take a snapshot here with single stock window. I always like to consider the single stock window. It's like if anybody ever collected baseball cards as a kid, or any sports card, I suppose. Like looking at the back of the baseball card and getting your statistics, your batting average, your ERA, your OPS, so on and so forth. So that's what we get here, and we can decide what we want to look at for those statistics here. Right click. Let's see, right click, and we get our configure windows. All right. And there's a lot to choose from that we can stick into these single stock windows. I have it set up the way that I like to look at, what I want to look at. All right. You can cruise through all these filters that are in here. All right. All these different change and VWAP distances and so on and so forth here. 5-year or 5-day change, 20-day change, so on and so forth, different positions and ranges. Every one of these, we can go through all these different data points. We can put any one of those that we want onto this here. So a lot of ways to look at things, a lot of information for us to have, again, if I were to look at this, hindsight trading, always my favorite, but you can see here, we made this run up. All right. We kind of pulled back and nestled right into that 8 EMA before making a big jump out again. So again, these are the patterns that I like to look for. So there's your cup. Perhaps the next few days we can make a handle here. Time will tell, and on to the next leg. Keep it moving here. Still no questions. And we can see we're doing a shuffle here on some of these. So as we're coming into the close, what's moving up and down. So I believe we have covered my friend here. Indeed, we did. Let's move over to SCWX. So another short here. Gap down we can see here. So there's a big time gap down and go. Decent alpha right here into the conservative profit zone and another profit save, I'm guessing. Yep. So look here, another profit save. And profit save essentially is a trailing stop. And so what happened is, Holly made the entrance right here on this candle. All right. So there's a wick up. She got that entrance in that wick up. And while she was hanging out with the price action down here, she decided that this candle, she'd had enough and was not going to let it come any closer back to that entry price and get out. So at the end, she never came close to the stop, even though it did get us out of the money quite a bit here. But the profit save seemed to have worked out because in the moderate profit, we could still see, and moderate being risk on, meaning holding to the end of the day, we're still at a small loss on that. So that profit save worked out. So man and machine together. You might have been looking, you might have been watching. It was something that you were in and you'd already seen 1, 2, 3 15-minute bars here trending up. You might have been out earlier than Holly even, so man and machine working together for that combination on that trade there. It saved you a few pennies on the alpha side. Let's keep moving. We've done JKS, HER, MDP. What do we have here? Meredith Corporation, periodical publishers. So something I must have looked at a long time ago here. I don't recall the stock specifically, but I've got a horizontal line there for some reason. Massive gap up here. So pull back long. And with that gap up, it distorts our chart a little bit. So we're going to zoom in a little bit here, get a better view. There we go. And so Holly makes the entrance here on this candle when a pullback had been going on. So wick was up here, had pulled back to down here to the body of the candle again. And that's where she decided to make that entry. Seeing a profit save here. Let's convert things around a little bit though. So that looks like she made the exit here and it wasn't really a profit save. It should be a reduced risk. I have to check out why that reason is there for us. But she decided that this trade wasn't working on that pullback long, continued to fade. We weren't going to stick around for that stop, so we made our exit there. We'll see if the catalyst exists for the next few days moving forward, but that's a pretty serious gap up there. What are we looking at? Sitting 25% above the close of yesterday. So big time chase at this point, big time chase. But we'll see if we get some kind of consolidation in the next few days, can hold this gap strong, and that might be something interesting to look at for the next few days. Good bit off the lifetime high, 72.25. We report for that lifetime high. So let's scroll out on daily chart, see what kind of resistance we have ahead of us if we were to take a look. So just for fun, we're going to throw in a horizontal line at the top of today. There we go. And see how that coordinates back here with some resistance. So we're sitting at kind of a pretty significant resistance level here on this stock to try to push through. So we'll see what happens the next few days. Held that gap pretty strong. Not a lot of selling off on that. 4.3 mil shares traded today, doing almost 34 times its normal volume over 10 days. So let's continue to press on as my whole 4 viewers in here are awfully silent on me. And Sava. So another short, separation from the 8 short. And let's take a look here. Now, Sava is one of those ones. It has done some serious moving, as pharmaceuticals can. Get a better view. There we go. On the daily, let's scrunch out the 15 a little bit there. And let's take a look at what we're looking at. So separation from the 8s. Not sure exactly where that comes in. We get the call right here. And she was in the money pretty quickly. First couple of bars, starts to lose that money here, and there's pretty much no looking back there. So she'd made the exit here on this candle. We can see the shaded area here ends, the dark shade, while we have that light shaded area there, indicating that there was an AI trade, but the AI trade conservative or risk off mode ended here. And had she not made that exit, we would have got stopped out here. We since had turned around, and it becomes a nice trade. So again, we could have used this as a watch list here all day long and found some different alpha and very reasonable trades, setting some different price alerts. And, you could have possibly gotten a better entry than Holly had here. Get rid of that drawing here. And let's match up what we saw in the daily with this. Maybe some catalysts, what we might have seen if we were watching from the entry. So we had a couple of days sitting here, and she just pokes her head here, Sava, right above that line before making that reverse. So, there'd already been some big selling off, up nicely over the last, let's say, 8 trading days or so before making that reverse. So again, not getting quite the gap fill that's there and finding some resistance here. And Holly found that resistance that was here. So you had, good 45 minutes to take some alpha on that trade for sure. Let's see here. Again, I see we're up to 8 viewers. It's a live Q&A. So please, in the questions panel there in YouTube, fire away some questions if there's something specific you want to see demonstrated. All right. Sorry, a little internal chat here, some questions that were going on. Just trying to follow some other support things too that are consistently going on at all times here. So again, question panel's open. Please fire away. I'll continue to pick off the last couple trades here. Both unfortunately stop outs for Holly today, but let's see what we had going on. So Again, another short, breakdown short. And we're in here on this candle. She was in the money for a short bit here before this big long wick came and got us out. I'm not sure what that's all about. We're looking at computer design. Not a tiny float, obviously not a big float sitting at 47 mil. So not sure what that flash was. There's a huge volume to that candle as well. So it's kind of a freak stop out there, because if that stop out doesn't happen, this is actually a great trade, to be honest. Trends back up here, never gets above the entry candle itself before really letting a nice release here. And then that's what I would call really solid bear flag there. You know, paying attention to things like that, that could have been another beautiful entry for a really, really great release. I mean, we're looking at 45 an hour, hour and a half, hour and 45, almost 2.5 hours here of just pure down. So let's see. How do you calculate intrinsic value? I'm not sure what you mean by intrinsic value. If you could elaborate on specifically what you're referencing. So yeah, if it isn't for this freak wick, this is actually a great trade. Not only is it a great trade looking at that intraday chart, let's look at the daily chart here. We have what we call green bar ignore on the daily chart coming into today even. So if those are not familiar with what a green bar ignore is, essentially what we have here is this green bar is engulfed by these two red bars here. All right, see how the body of this green bar is, tiny tick maybe right there that this green bar pokes below it, but it's a beautiful setup bearish. We'll look at some other things here. So momentum indicator moving down. You have the 8 EMA cross below the 20 SMA there, and then putting pressure for all these days here. All right. So a lot of good bearish signals that were all involved in this call. And like I said, I don't know what that was about. Kind of a freak thing to have it happen. Do I know what the balance sheet is? I don't. I mean, we can look here and see their cash on hand. We're reporting 131 million. Their current debt, we're reporting 16.29 million. Revenue reporting 200.64 million. So that, that's what we're getting from our fundamental data analysis fact set. So that's what I have there. We could always go to a broker or someone, check on, famously Yahoo or someone like that. But that's what we have here. That's what you mean by intrinsic value. So you've got, you got revenue, cash, and debt right there for us. And of course, market cap. So sitting just under 2 billion on a market cap. We don't calculate that as well. That's, these are values that our data providers give to us. Things that we calculate will be something like a relative volume. It's our formula that calculates that. Volume is volume. Everybody's going to report the same volume. They're supposed to anyways. The 5 minute, 15 minute, 1 minute volumes, those are all, based on our algorithms, our mathematical formulas for those, based on, of course, this number and the count back of the candles that represent what the base is, what the baseline is of those. So, all right, press on. Lost some viewers, down to 3. I guess I'm not engaging enough here. So S, I guess that's Sprint, right? No, I'm wrong. What's Sprint? I can't even remember. Is Sprint even a company anymore? All right, so sorry. Back to bond shorty here. Another stop out. This thing was kind of whipping all over the place. It's an ugly looking chart on the intraday chart. So let's see the catalyst of this, though. Again, we got the 8 EMA crossing at 20 SMA. Now we've got pressure, a downward slope, really all over the place. So The entry is made right there on that candle. Not the best color for this here. Let's see, maybe yellow is going to be better to draw this one here. So that's a little better. So that's where we came in on that candle here. And, we're in the money very, very shortly here on this before getting stopped out up here. Similar to TLS, made a run back down again for us. But, it's kind of an ugly chart. Something that personally, if I was looking at, I'm seeing these ranges like this and this wick like this and then this wick like this. And, I'm not one to jump right into a trade. Holly makes the alert. I'll let it set up for me. I'm not firing right off with her. And just nothing about this chart catches my eye. So, her algorithm sees what it sees. It alerts what it alerts. We let it run the way it runs, looking at the whole market. So that's really the Holly recap here. Let's see what else we can look at here. Go over a little bit about what my layout is here. So something I've been experimenting with as I, continue my push of curiosity into automation is I keep a curated list. So I call it automation list. Run it in between, we'll say 20 and 30 stocks, give or take, that look like setups to my eye that might have some room on them for the next day. And so this is what this alert window looked at. So if we take a look and we come into the configure of this window, we can see a few things that I've done here. So first off, I have it linked to my symbol list here. Chris V liked, that's it. So it's only looking at that. We can set it up to look at all symbols, meaning the entire market, only the following lists, which is what I'm currently doing. We could exclude a list. So if we wanted to exclude certain stocks that are on a do not trade list that we have, for example, we could even tell an alert window or top list window to look at a single stock all by itself. In here, in the summary of the scan, what I'm looking for in this is have to trade at least 300,000 shares averaged over the last 5 days. Need 75,000 shares traded today to get the alert. I want it 75% above the low of yesterday's range. And I've told this scan not to start giving me any alerts till 15 minutes after the open. So 9:45 a.m. my time. And then the catalyst, the event, the alert, the trigger, it has to be making a new high on the day. So those are the big catalysts in order to get an alert from this. And like I said, it's only looking at those specific list of stocks that I have set it to look at. That's it. So I'm narrowing down the data to the most quality setups that I believe as a trader are going to work out for us. We see, got some alerts here today, and there's definitely some alpha on the list earlier. It didn't all hold as well as, you'd like. This is where trying to figure out what's going to work for the bracket order to close these, or, am I going to try to manage these more on my own? So, these are all things I'm testing currently as I watch, but, BLDE, decent entry rate here, and had a real nice march up before giving some back, trying to curl up here at the end of the day. Couldn't really get back above that to that high, but not bad overall. Decent alert there. We came in, got an alert at 11:39, and let's see, we topped out just shy of it was 1180, give or take, 1178 looks like. So not a bad alert from that. APAP, or APA, excuse me. We got the alert here, 2174, and it was right here on this candle, right there in that candle, and shot right up for us. A big pullback back down towards the entry. Pretty range bound the rest of the day. Closed as a small winner here. Again, trying to figure out what's the best way to manage these things here. SM, and get the alert here at 2373. So towards the top of this candle, it looks like. All right. And get some nice alpha right off the bat and pulled back, but looked overall pretty nice right up until the close, where it kind of fell flat on its face. So again, how are we going to manage these trades? That's something that's the next step for this list. Yesterday, the list was, anybody that was here in the live stream with me, was absolutely on fire actually yesterday. Today it was okay today. It wasn't as good as yesterday. But again, narrowing down this data set, and Doesn't mean I have to trade this automatically, but knowing that I've got a good set of stocks here to look at with some momentum, with some liquidity, moving on my side with the kind of charts that I like seeing setting up on the daily chart. So again, IGT made a decent entry here for about 2 seconds. It seemed like wicked out on me, came down, came back towards the entry, really came down and closed up, closed up a dime. So not really much to look at there as far as that goes. Let's see how it sets up into the next day. So strong close today. So it's something that will probably remain on that list for me. And again, I'm just filling airtime right now, folks. So if someone has something that they want demonstrated, talked about, what we're doing here, why we're doing it, you want to go over building an alert window, building a top list, things of that nature, please let me know. I'm happy to break from what I'm doing now. Just going to continue forward. We'll go over a few more here on this list. So MRO, oil, natural gas, very bullish lately, very bullish charts. Zoom back here. Just have a good snapshot of this daily chart as well. And we get the alert here, 1273. So towards the top of this candle here, we get a little bit of alpha there, 13 cents, not a whole lot to write home to mom about. We come negative, make a move back towards $13, couldn't get it, and just kind of stayed flat the rest of the day off that big pullback. So, another dime, nothing to write home to mom about, but, you start to add up some of these spreads, and they can make a difference at the end of the day here if we can get a good way to try to manage these on an automated list. Again, Vermilion here, another energy company. Same concept, a lot of entries that are good for about 45 minutes, half an hour before making those pullbacks. Gave us a bit of that alpha back again. So, again, about a dime again here somewhere, give or take on that entry. And, kind of the same thing, another energy company here, not a whole lot going on there again, 2077. Excuse me, 2027 made a decent run up here, up into the 60s. So you had some good alpha again, managing the trade becomes the key once again, and, closes up a dime. So we can kind of see a theme going on here with what's happening. It looks like, we're basically down to one viewer here. I've got you guys bored to death, apparently. Again, for the one person that's here, if you got something specific demonstrated and you want to look at, you want to watch, please, let me know. That's what we're trying to do here. I'm trying to give a little late day Q&A here. So again, this is live forum, demonstrating trade ideas software here, scanning software for the US, and we do have some Canadian data. So watching momentum after the market. So, we could always create something too for aftermarket. So, come here and bring this over real quick just to demonstrate it. New. Let's go with an alert window. So create a new alert window. Just going to get rid of this here. If we come to the summary, we can name it. We'll call it, breaking out. AF. For after hours, or excuse me, AH. That's better, after hours, all right? What I do when I'm making a new alert window, I come to the window specific filters. Let's click hide all or hide unused so we get rid of the unused. And just delete the values that are here to start with. And we can start fresh, all right? Select alerts. We don't want a new high because we're in the post market. So we want post-market, oops, excuse me. So post-market high is what we're going to look at if we're breaking out. So we're going to add alert. It's going to bring us to the selected alert window. We're going to check that. All right, so there's part one of it here. Now let's see, what else do we want to look at? We want to know there's some volume in this today. So let's go volume. And let's look at 1 minute volume. So our 1 minute volume here, this is the filter that we want, 1 minute volume percent. This is going to look at a 10-day average and what we're doing in 1 minute on a 10-day average. So we're going to add that filter. It's going to bring us to the Windows specific filter here tab. So that's where we are now. And let's say we want to see it doing 2 times normal its volume of 1 minute over the last 10 days. So we put a 200, and that's going to equal, we're doing 2 times that volume. Okay. We want to make sure that we're working with some sort of liquid stock, I suppose, right? Though something could have news in the after hours where it wasn't as liquid, but let's cut out some of the noise. So let's say for now, for argument's sake, we'll put in 100,000. So we have to have traded at least 100,000 shares today to be looking at it. Now, some people might say, oh, let's put a relative volume filter in there. Our relative volume does not work in pre-market or post-market, okay? You can't really take an average volume of a stock like that and put it into time frames where it doesn't necessarily trade almost at all. However, what we can do is use a substitute filter. We come back to search and we're going to just look for volume. And we are going to find, we're going to write today. All right. And we have volume today and a percent. This will work in post-market and pre-market. So let's just say that we want to see a stock that has done at least 100% of its 10-day average. All right. So let's put it here and we're going to put 100 there. All right, minimum. We want to see that it's at its 10-day average, so we know we're staying liquid with the stock. All right. If you're ever wondering what the values are going to equal, there's the show me function that's in the middle here, so we can click that magnifying glass and we can say show me stocks where the volume today is at least 100% of normal. Okay. So there we go. Same kind of concept here. Volume today, show me stocks where the volume today is at least 100,000 shares. All right. So far we're making moves on this post-market alert here. We do have, let's see, some post-market filters. So we're going to write post again. And let's see, we don't want to see anything that's really, nonsense in the post-market, traded 5 shares, 10 shares. So let's add a post-market shares and volume. So we're going to add that filter. And let's say we want to see that it's traded 1,000 shares in the post-market. All right. And so that's a good base to work off of. Let's put a minimum price in there. We'll go with $4. Sounds good. We'll leave the maximum empty. So if we come back to the summary now, we're looking at stocks that are making a new post-market high. They're at least $4 or greater, traded at least 100,000 shares today. They've done at least their normal volume over the last 10 days. That in the last minute, they're doing double their volume of a 1 minute average over 10 days, and they've at least traded 1,000 shares in the post market. Maybe this returns some stocks, maybe it doesn't. We're going to click OK. And there's our first alert. Let's take a look. PALT, 5 and change. And that has done some serious volume here. I don't have post-market up on the chart, but let's throw it up there now. So properties, let's get some post-market on there. Sorry, just typing a message there to somebody. So PALT, it's a lot of volume here. Huge volume candle right there. All right, we'll see what that translates to in the next few moments here. Big run up. All right. Has to be news, I'm guessing, because we're not anywhere near earnings. Well, we'll see how that all plays out there. All right. Let's see, AK, ALK. So same kind of thing here. Making a new post-market high. 1 minute volume. We got 233, so we're satisfying all of our filters. Relative volume tells us that it was traded above its normal today, so that volume percent filter is working handily for us. Like I said, it's a good substitute for the relative volume filter in the after and post markets. Continue to take a look here. ADS. So again, we know we traded at least 1,000 shares in the post market. We're trading at our average or above over the last 10 days. And not a bad looking daily chart, to be honest here. A nice move out of today here. Again, no earnings or anything like that. So we'll see where it does in the post market if it continues to have. So let's see, a comment coming here. Can you scan for bullish patterns intraday? And what does Holly do exactly? We don't do pattern recognition necessarily, to be honest. But there are outside the box ways to try to find those. So for example, one of the people that I work here with, Andy, he had come up with a scan for bullish flags on a daily chart using position and range filters. So you could do the same thing with intraday position and ranges. We are actually working on some tech right now with what we call our Market Explorer. We're putting out some different stuff over the next few months, some kind of canned scans, if you will. They won't be adjustable, but we can share those links. People can load them up, do what they like with them from there, whether they want to watch or not watch, but they won't be customizable for now like these here. We're more focused on volume, RSI, positions, and ranges themselves, above and below, different moving averages, view ops, so on and so forth with those, more so than pattern recognition. However, I'll bring up a quick configure here and show you what we do have in that realm. So let's see if we go to alerts. We do have some double bottom, some triangles, stuff like that. So I'll just scroll down here. So these are the ones that we're going to have here, all right, as far as pattern recognitions go. So you've got your broadening bottom tops, triangles, bottoms and tops, rectangle bottoms and tops, double bottoms and tops, and inverted and regular head and shoulders. That's more or less what we have as far as the intraday stuff goes. And like I said, you can do some different things with positions and ranges. So I'm going to bring up a scan here. The bullish flag scan. So let's see, load from cloud. Load. Not a whole lot on there today, unfortunately, but let's take a look here, what these look like on a daily chart. Hopefully these are not buyouts. So there you can see the way it's looking back here, giving us that flag. Let's see here. This is another good example or not. And not quite the flag that we're looking for. I think this here kind of gets it there, satisfies the filters, but not as great. But some days this is going to look better than others. Whoops. And what we've done here to create this, you'll be trying to test drive soon. Perfect. All right. So I'll be doing this Monday through Friday at 3:30 till about 4:30. Some days I might go overtime. Some days I can't go overtime with this. But this stream here is open at 9 a.m. every day, Monday through Friday. It's more of a trading room style during the earlier hours, but at noon Eastern every day, we do a Q&A similar to this. And then I'll be doing a second Q&A at 3:30 every day. So just something new that we're trying out here. Hopefully, we get some traction. I get some more interaction here. It's been, very quiet, but today's the second day of doing it. We haven't officially launched it or announced it yet. I'm just kind of testing this out, still testing out the crowd, testing out the waters. But get back in this bull flag setup, how it was created. If we right click, so one of the things to know is everything in Trade Ideas is right click, more or less. Where you right click is what the results are going to give you. But any scan, if you right click in the body of the scan, you get your configure, your time frames, freeze. There's a whole lot of options to go through here. All right. But your configures in your right click. And you have all these different tabs to go through here. Your search tab, what you can find. You select something, you add the filter, you add the alert, so on and so forth. Top lists are only going to run on filters. In the window specific filters where you're going to set the values for all these things. Okay. We can choose the exchanges we want to look at. We can create symbols lists. So we only look at certain stocks, so we can narrow that data. We can exclude certain stocks. We can only look at one stock if we want to. The columns that are across up here, we can choose what columns we want to look at. If you don't see a column to select from that you want, you'd come back to the search and click show column of what you were looking for in the search. We choose how we want to sort this data here, of course. And the summary is going to give us a synopsis of what this scan is actually looking for. On this one, I'm going to go back to the window specific filter here. And we're going to expand this a little bit here. And so the way that this was created, Andy took a price range, 5 and 350 on the numbers here. He wanted to see stocks that were up at least from the close of yesterday. So he did 0.01, just minimally, but we want to see that it's up from yesterday. He put this EPS in here to filter out ETFs. So we're not going to get any ETFs because of these filters here. So we can kick those to the curb. He told the 5-day range. He wants it in between 1 and 5 here. All right. And let's see, hopefully this isn't a histogram, but we can click this. There we go. So let's get rid of what I've been writing there. And you can show me stocks where the 5-day range is between 1 and 5%. Okay. So we've established that range for the flag now. Okay. And we want to see in the position of today's range, position in yesterday's range. All right. So show me stocks where it's 75% above the low of this range, right? And that's a position in previous day's range. Okay. That's what the P stands for. So you want to see we're above the low of the previous day range. Andy and Michael Knowles created this, this filter here, our composite score rating, and it updates in real time versus other composite ratings for doing stocks. So it's mostly a technical analysis algorithm or mathematical formula. There is a little bit of fundamental in there as well. So he wants to see some things that are quality on this. And this filter runs of a score from, I believe, 35 to 100 as the scores. And then in the 10-day range, all right, he wants to see that the price is up at least 3% from 10 days ago. All right. And so that's how he created this flag. And then, average daily volume, you want to make sure that's liquid. He did. So he picked 300,000 shares averaging over the last 10 days. So we are as well creating a new scan like this using that Market Explorer that I discussed before. And so that's been putting out a few more setups that are a little nicer than this. And we have a flip version of it too. So as soon as I believe we'll have all these ready come the test drive. So when you start that test drive, if that's something that you're interested in, let us know. And if it's ready, we're going to get your cloud link to it and you can load that up and you can watch those scans yourself like that. So that's more or less how it's done with position ranges. Now, if we were come here into the search tab and we look for position and range, we have all these position and ranges intraday here. All right. Then also we have these ranges intraday here, okay, both dollars and in percents. And one last step, we have all these change in the positions too of range, all right? So all dollars and percents as well. So we can express it in a lot of different ways. So, using that bull flag scanner there that I was just going over for dailies, you could certainly replicate something like that intraday if that's what you wanted to do. Get rid of this here. And then you asked something about Holly. So what does Holly do exactly? So Holly essentially is an extremely fancy alert window. She has about 50 base strategies or so. Every day they go in a back tester and optimizer, and then she will spit out the strategies that back tested, optimized, and have the best profit factors. And the strategies look at the whole market and and will alert in real time, time-stamped alert, when a stock meets the criteria of that strategy. So I've gone over a bit of it today already, but I don't assume anybody's left from that early on. So we look here, we can see, she goes long and short. She had a little more short than long today. And we can see these times that she entered these different stocks here. Excuse me, it's not a live portfolio, so it's really still just an alert, but I have it set up as a hypothetical set of alerts, risking $100 based on her stop loss. So she's always going to put out a stop loss in every one of these. So like, for example, if let's come into MTEM, all right, she made that alert at 9:51, 52 seconds. The price on that was $7.29. And we got a last price of $7.62. All right. So we can see right here, this blue line indicates exactly where on the candle it was entered. This blue arrow indicates the candle that it was entered. All right. And this dark shaded area shows her conservative or risk off management of that trade. She left that trade on what we call a profit save, which is a trailing stop. But we can see here that we never got in danger really here, came down and got near the entry, but it never got anywhere near that stop that she put out of 667 or 678, excuse me. And so we stayed range bound for most of the day. So it was a risk on kind of day for this trade, if you will, into the end of the day. So, Holly, sometimes she's early or late on a trade, and having that trader's eye on the charts, can make a big difference, knowing that you're getting some statistical probability of some kind of catalyst there. Is the catalyst early or late? That's my kind of short synopsis on Holly, if you will. I know you say you're getting ready for the test drive. So, we have a ton of free education. And a user guide is on its way that will be ready by the time by the time test drive starts. A lot of short videos covering basically every topic. We have a lot of stuff already. So if you want any of that stuff, send an email to at trade-ideas.com. All right, so you can send an email right to this here that I put there and say, hey, I was in the late Q&A with Chris. He said you guys have a lot of education stuff. Can you just send me anything you have, and we'll put together a whole bunch of links for you. Just for the test drive, some people don't realize, even though it runs the 11th of October, the 22nd of October, the aftermarket close on the 8th, a few hours. So let's say 7 o'clock, for example, Eastern time, give or take a little bit here. You should be able to log into the software and start poking around in that software, in our software, to get ready over the weekend for Monday's open. All right. So give you a couple of days head start running into doing that. So, anybody that's in here that isn't signed up for the test drive, let me know. I can get you a link to get you signed into that test drive if you like. It's $11.11. Kick the tires here for 2 weeks. It's full access to the software, minus the only thing we don't allow people to do in the test drive is live automate the AI. Not a great idea when you have, a lot of people that have never traded in their life trying to automate. For anybody that's, into wanting to automate because they have a second job or they have a job and they can't, sit and watch a screen or anything like that. I can respect that. I understand that, but please understand that automation is an extremely advanced form of trading. It takes, you got to understand the software. You have to understand market mechanics. You have to understand markets, things like that. So, just jumping right out there and thinking you're going to press play and automation, sorry, that's just not how it works. Automation is something I've been trying to break into for a few years, and I've had to lick a lot of wounds from it. So anyways, that I won't go any further into automation. So we're coming to mid-hour here. I do have to leave right at 4:30. So I take this last minute or two here before I shut the stream. If there's one last question here that anybody's got real fast before we exit, let me know. Take a look here. So some interesting alerts coming through here, this window that we just kind of created real fast, and then some not so interesting ones. So, all right, that's tumbleweeds blowing. I will end this broadcast. I will be back here Monday at 3:30. And again, this stream will be open at 9 o'clock in the morning Monday. So anybody that's here now, you're still interested, want to see some more stuff demonstrated, it's a live traders room. This is more Q&A format now. 9 a.m. Monday, it's a live traders room with Mr. Barry Anderson. So, all right, everybody, I will cut the stream. You have a wonderful weekend. Thanks to everybody that chopped in, and we will catch you on the flip side. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.